Hey, Stoney here with another game of Mechabellum, and in this game you're seeing me struggle into Saber Arclight using spiders and marksman. Let's go. At the bottom here, I'm playing as a Saber-tooth specialist, and I am up against Triple Dots playing as a Amplified specialist. Right now, the meta for Saber-tooth and Arclights are extremely strong. So for spider lovers like me, it is not going well. This straight up just destroys my comp in round 1, possibly round 2, which means I will have to pivot very soon. Now, I do have one thing that's going for me is because the spider are actually a whole magnitude more effective in chaff clear, especially on the line compared to Arclights, mostly because of its AG. Now, a spider with AG has a splash of 12 meters, so that's quite a lot more than Arclight, and Arclight, of course, does not have that upgrade. And not to mention, the spider shoots at 0.6 seconds per shot compared to 0.9 seconds. So it's a pretty good unit if you can keep it alive. And of course, round 1, we are going into an opposite asymmetrical aggro. So not going to be headbutt in round 1, but we'll have to decide this is what we want to do in round 2. In this sort of situation, it is extremely delicate because he who starts the migration over to the other side are usually at a disadvantage. So you have to really make your choices correctly and utilize the unit drop to make that happen. Otherwise, you'll be at risk of facing your opponent's entire army with just part of your army. Round 2, as a Saber-tooth spec, I do get a big tank, and of course, we also have a unit drop. Looking at the options here, I already have Marksman, so Phoenix is not much of a threat for me. Crawlers, especially at level 2, makes a lot of sense because it takes 2 shots from the Arclight to kill a Crawler. Rhino could also be interesting since we're on the line, but running into Saber-tooth might be a little risky. So it's going to be Crawlers for me and Phoenixes for my opponent. And here is where I started to be very careful with the placement. So first of all, the Saber-tooth is going to be right here directly facing the Arclight. The Crawlers is going to be directly facing the Saber-tooth. Now notice there is a 2-meter difference. The Saber-tooth shoots at 95, the Arclight shoots at 93. So there is a slight danger of the Saber-tooth accidentally targeting my Saber-tooth, which is not good. So I need to just really play with this distance here just to make sure that when the army is engaged, the Saber-tooth is going to want to shoot the Crawlers, and then the Arclight is going to want to shoot my Saber-tooth. Same story on the other side. I'm going to put my spiders here, mostly to deal with these fangs, and I'm going to add another squad of Crawler to deal with the Saber-tooth. So let's see if this pans out for me. The Arclight gets instantly destroyed, and of course now the Saber-tooth is turning its attention over. Tarantula on the line, super tanky, so taking all the shots from this Arclight, and of course, this Saber-tooth is forever stuck on chaff clearing duty. So I would say this is a pretty great transition for me. And now I am stabilizing over on the other side while putting pressure on the opposite side. So now it's up to my opponent to respond to my aggression. Sweet. All right, getting to round 3. I actually made a mistake at round 3. I saw the deployment module, so I clicked it really fast and then realized there was actually a redeployment ability, which would be much better than the deployment module. So that was my bad. All right, looking at the board here, I think my opponent is going to respond, especially on this side, by putting some sort of chaff. I expect my opponent to put like Crawlers right on this angle here. So I'm going to put the deployment module onto the Saber-tooth and get him out of the way here. I didn't want to get him all the way on the side at the risk of just engaging some sort of chaff, which I expect my opponent to put here as well. So a lot of mind games going on when you're headbutting. But you only have so many deployments per round, so you can't really do that much. My opponent very wisely is putting one of his Saber-tooth out of the way and onto the other side. So now he's going to get my Tarantula in just 2 shots, while my marksman will be distracted clearing out those crawlers. So giving me a taste of my own medicine here. And of course, he also has a flank. Now, we're both flanking. I have flanks on both sides, but his crawler might be a little faster. We'll see. I did take drill on this turn because I want to just make sure that we're in a headbutt situation and my crawlers are maximizing their value. So I did, in fact, get the crawler and onto the tower earlier and also getting the tower. And with the tower depot, I might actually be able to save this tower, and indeed I have. But the other tower, though, that is the problem because my only upshoot right now is this level 1 marksman. So let's see how good my timing is. All right, not terrible. So we still have upshoot, we still have crawlers on the ground, and we should be able to wrap this up. Cool. All right, round 4. Super supply at round 4 is super tempting. And none of the other cards really make sense. So it's going to be super supply for me. And it's also going to be super supply for my opponent. Now, my opponent actually wants to use jump drive on a Phoenix. So that's an investment for a single squad of Phoenix on the line. I think he just wants to be extra annoying and do some cheeky stuff. So for me, I need to answer 2 things. One thing is this Sabertooth that is two-shotting my units. But here I made a misclick. I wanted to click a squad of Fangs, but I end up clicking an Arclight, which is quite useless. So I'm not entirely sure what to make of that. Just to recuperate some of the lost value by the misclick, I'm just going to put the Arclight somewhere. I think I'm going to drop them all the way back in that corner. Fortunately, my opponent expected me to put Fangs here, and now he's moving his Sabertooth out of the way, refusing to reinforce it with his own Arclights, which is actually really good for me because I didn't have anything defending there. And again, sort of a double reverse psychology here. The Phoenix is going to be on the flank, and the first target is going to be my Tarantula. He is also defending with his Arclight here. All right, let's see what we do. Okay, Phoenix is still on target, which means by the time it warps in, it should be one-shotting this Tarantula. Nope, just a little short of that. All right, there it goes. And we got this Tarantula, and it's gone. We got a Sabertooth. Yep, doing some work. Clearing out these Arclight, really good. Can I get this tower before the Sabertooth died? Probably not. And this Sabertooth is just going to come and kill everything here. Not great. Now, I do have a single marksman. Now with the tower timing, I wonder if I can actually snipe off these Phoenixes. And a very fortunate second tower timing allowing me to get to this Phoenix, but there's no way in hell that I'm going to be able to kill the Sabertooth. Alright, we'll get into round 5. We got another unit drop here. I was debating between the Wasps and the Mustangs. The Sledgehammer could also be very annoying for my opponent since his only large damage unit are these Sabertooth, and they kill tanks extremely slowly. I wanted the Wasp because I needed a definitive answer into the Phoenixes. I'm not too worried about the Mustangs as my Tarantula might actually do well once I clear the front line. Now, speaking of clearing the front line, I am going to use steel balls. So it's the same idea as using sledgehammers, except the steel balls actually have the damage to take down the Sabertooth on the line. And it's also really good against other large units on the line. For example, if you're putting down forts, having steel balls on the line will work amazing. Now, one thing though with steel ball, and I learned this the hard way, is that if your opponents are not on the line, for example, a fortress is in front of the tower and you want to use the ranged steel ball into the fort, don't. In that situation, get a melting point. You'll be much happier because your steel balls will likely be popped off before they can make contact with the fortress. All right, my opponent continues to maneuver the Phoenixes and now all the way in deep flank here, going after my tower. Also taking drill on his crawlers, which means there will be a fight. Let's see, neither of us have taken tower upgrades yet, so this would be a pretty even fight. It's purely up to RNG. Nobody knows who will win. Alright, level 2 Sabertooth here. It's a big hunk of damage. My opponent is trying to bring it down with his Sabertooth, but nope, not happening. The steel balls are going to work. It's locking onto all the right units. Ooh, this one almost got him, but just a little shy of dealing lethal damage. Tower went down. Okay, so this is a little rough. We still got Mustangs on the ground here. I might be able to get some Phoenixes, but I think that's about all that I can get here. Alright, my opponent's striking back. But I'm pretty happy right now because I have transitioned from a asymmetrical opposite aggro into just a pure headbutt, and I'm fine with that. And I have the right units, right? I love to have tarantulas on the headbutt. I love to have range balls on the headbutt. And now with the shield, both of us took the shield. I'm able to create a bit more problem in the back here with these crawlers. I took range on a tarantula. It's just to add to its longevity a little bit. Also level my steel balls, allowing them to kill things a little bit faster. Last round, we left the Sabertooth standing for a little bit too long. So this round, we want to fix that. My opponent continues to maneuver the Phoenixes, and now is at the front trying to snipe my Tarantula. We'll see if he succeeds. And I'm moving my Tarantulas around now, seeing there's a level 2 crawler into that headbutt. So when you see a level 2 crawler, you need to be very careful because now he's at an advantage, which means he can take, replicate, and really mess up your day. And you know what else mess up my day when I'm running Tarantulas? Well, range hackers. I do this a lot against my friends. Whenever they go into heavy Tarantula, I just take range hackers and boom. All your armies are now mine. And hackers are also great into steel balls, so this is a win-win for my opponent. Wasn't sure about the level 1 hackers though. They do take quite a while into level 2 units, but it seems like they're working. And I was unable to clear his front line, and these big Sabertooth are going to survive, and they are going to do a lot of damage onto my army. And this steel ball almost got the Sabertooth and turned at the last minute. Great tower timing, which means the spiders are now in range if the hacker is able to bring it down. Alright, we got rid of all the hackers. We do have a bad tower timing right now. But I wonder, since I still have wasps left over, I wonder if I can get them back. All I needed was just to get through these 2 Phoenixes. Yeah, great tower timing. It doesn't matter to level 3 Phoenixes, they still pop wasps in one shot. But we should be okay. Alright, getting to round 7. Smoke is pretty good, but I had another idea. I took photon emission, and I noticed right now my opponent's really the only chaff player are these Arclights and some Mustangs, and neither of which are really good into a big blob of crawlers. So the idea was, what if I just buy a bunch of level 2 crawlers, put them on the line, and put photon on it? We expect my opponent to do smoke, and because there's really no way to defend against it because of the high level Sabertooth, let's try something a little unorthodox. This is a really fun build if it works, because once the crawlers connect, they're just going to produce infinite amount of crawlers. I took speed just to add it to the effect, and I'm going to level up all my rest of the crawlers as well. So even if the front line fails, I'm going to have a pretty large stream of replicated crawlers coming in. I'm also going to have a lot of crawlers coming in from the other side. So let's see if this works. Another reason I want to do this is because the ranged steel balls right now are kind of suffering. They're not getting the damage done because they're getting locked onto by the hackers. So by creating a bit of chaos with these triple tech crawlers, I'm hoping to seal the deal with the front line. Once I get through the front line and get through the hackers, these tarantulas can really hold their own against the Mustangs. My opponent is sensing some sort of shenanigans right now. He's adding triple shield bubbles. I think it's mostly there to protect against the smoke, but here we go. We got crawlers replicating in to my opponent. I'm going to put it on slow mode here. We're going to see how this works. Alright, we still have crawlers on the ground here. Steel balls are connecting. One of them is being hacked, unfortunately, but we did get the Sabertooth, which means the next target is going to be the hacker. Alright, we got a steel ball here. We have a big tarantula that's being hacked, but these steel balls seal the deal. And we still have crawlers on the ground, and now they're onto the Mustangs. And Mustangs don't really stand a chance here. The Arclights are trying their best to get rid of these crawlers, but they're getting targeted by my wasps. The towers is going down. We still got lots of units on the ground and in the air. I think we are good for this round. Now, one thing that isn't that good is that this is not a lethal round. This is going to bring my opponent's HP down to just under 1,000, which gives him the opportunity to prepare for the next round. Good for me is that now we have underground threat, triple tapped crawler that can pop up anywhere. Is nothing to scoff at, so we're going to use that. And my opponent here is also going to answer with the underground, I think in this case in a more defensive location. In later rounds, make sure you don't forget to cover your flanks. It is now wide open, so if there is underground, you want to make sure you have them back there. What's even better than speedy crawlers that can replicate? Well, you want to reduce the damage that your opponent does and increase the damage that you do. So DJ Beam is a natural choice here. It is going to increase, well, rather allow the opponent to take additional 30% damage, which makes it much easier for me to replicate stuff. The oil is being added down, and there's no way I can stop this oil from happening. So quite a problematic situation. But I'm counting on my backline crawlers. I feel like these guys could really do a lot of damage. Alright, missiles here, disabling my crawler, allowing this Arclight to really focus on the underground threat. We got level 3 crawlers here into level 2 Arclights. They do not one-shot it, and neither does these Mustangs. So these crawlers hopefully will get some value out of that. We got an L beacon to trying to draw some of my units away from the front line, alleviating some pressure. So I don't really know who will win this round here. I think my opponent is doing all the correct moves in defending my crawler shenanigan. The oil did come down a little slow, but my Wraith is now at the front line and nobody's really shooting at it, which is great, because it's a great chaff clear unit. But now with the Mustangs level 4 onto the Wraith, it's a little rough. Steel balls are doing alright. They're getting onto the correct targets. Soon we'll hopefully get to that hacker, and we did. Great tower timing, and now able to get to the other hacker. Alright, units are swimming over. We have level 3 Wasp here bearing down onto this tower. If we can get this tower, we can mop up everything else. For now, the most important thing is for me to get these Phoenixes, because I don't have any upshoot. Actually, no, I do have a single level 1 marksman. Ooh, getting my opponent down to just 657. Javelin is offer. I expect my opponent to take the same ability. For me, I want to get a Jav maybe right here. I really want to get rid of the Mustangs. I could also Jav the front line, but I just wasn't sure if I really need... I mean, the Sabertooth themselves are really just doing damage to steel balls. My opponent wants to get rid of my steel balls down here. Good choice. They were causing quite a lot of problems with the mobile beacon down up this way. And he's getting 2 boats with Photon to counteract with my Degen Beam, and also to counteract my Wraith. Alright, being directly countered once again. Now, since I was... Oh man, my opponent actually moved the Mustangs away using the redeploy, expecting me to jab that particular spot. That's actually a great move. I didn't notice that when I was in game. I thought I got his Mustangs. And which is why I started adding Wasp. I thought if I can remove the high level Mustangs, there's really not a lot of anti-air. So let's get the Wasp going. Let's get the high level Tarantulas at the front to destroy these fangs. And then these Wasps should be able to sweep across from this level 3 tower all the way to the other side. Alright, long, range, speed. Let's see how we do. Well, we did get the boat, which is nice. But we did not get these Mustangs. And these Mustangs will continue to be a thorn on my side. Alright, steel balls are doing work. We're getting a lot of value on popping up those shields. Level 3, level 4 Tarantula are now a little too big to be hacked by the hackers. And it's also destroying this level 4 Mustang, which is really good. Alright, Wasp are swinging over. But we do have a Phoenix standing guard. The question is, can I get tower? No, not before he gets mine. And that's going to be a round to my opponent. Alright. We got unit drop once again. None of these units really make sense for me. Tanks gets hacked by the hackers. Vulcan, I don't need chaff clear if I already have spiders. Scorpion, I don't need anti-ground because a lot of my opponent's army are now in the air. So the only choice that makes sense was the melting point. Melting points on the line could be very strong, but they do attack very slowly. And in order to counteract that, we're going to take range and multi-melter. And we're also going to add 2 more melters, and that should allow us to target multiple units on the front line. Alright, so here's 2 more melters. My opponent continues to go hard with the boats, and he did take the Vulcan. Still worry about the chaff clear capabilities from his arc lights. Did he sell? No, he did not sell his Mustangs, and now level 5 is being moved all the way to the other side. He was fully anticipating another strong push using Wasps on the other side. But no, this turn is just going to be multi-melter, because I know once I get through the Mustang, not the Mustangs, the Sabertooth and the boats, well, it's very easy for me to push into the hackers with my high-level Tarantulas. In order for me to lock onto his units right away, I've added triple missiles, getting rid of these initial fangs. And once the round starts, you'll see how the multi-melter are locking on to everything that's important. Alright, I'm going to slow it down for you. Missile. Great. And now we're going to get onto a hacker, an arc light, a Sabertooth, and a boat. And this one, a boat, an arc light. And once we get through these crawlers, possibly the Sabertooth, hacker, arc light. So very juicy targeting. And right away, within like the first 10 seconds, the front line has melted for my opponents on this side. Level 3 Vulcan, we don't care. We got level 3 melting point. On the other side is similar story. However, I do have to clear out a little bit more chaff because of the additional Mustangs here. But this melter is already locking onto the level 1 Overlords. Able to bring that guy down, but not so much for the rest of the army. But I think I should have it in the bag. My opponent only has 657 HP left. And now with the tower debuff and the level 3 melter, that should be it for this game. Alright, what an exciting back and forth. I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you like these type of videos, consider subscribing. And if you want to see another one, here's one for you. And I will see you on the next one.
Prepare your tactics. Mechabellum's calling. Deploy your fortress. The battlefield's alive with swarms.